So what is proper training, and how do you know if you're doing it correctly or incorrectly? You might want to watch this. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I started a Friday Value video series on proper training, what it is and what it isn't. And I thought I would sort of flesh it out a little bit with some movement demonstrations and explain some of the things that you only saw slides for. And if you haven't seen that series, I would recommend that you do. A lot of good information in there. I got a lot of good feedback from that. But I want to tell you some of the reasons that improper training can happen. And it's not necessarily anyone's fault per se. Well, people can only teach you what they know, by the way. They can't teach you what they don't know. And, if 5 different people learned something that's not really accurate or not really beneficial for the body, but they think it is, they're just going to keep teaching it, and the next person learns, and the next person, and that's how that goes. But what I want to do is I want to share 3 or 4 different reasons why improper training can happen. One of them is learning movement from still pictures. Now, I wrote a book called Pain Culprits. Many of you may be aware of that. If you're not, I'd like you to check it out. You might learn something, hopefully. But I was reviewed by someone who was upset because there were no exercises in the book. I didn't describe any exercises. I didn't put any exercise pictures in there. What I did do was put a link to a free resource where they could learn how to assess their body in 3-plane function, all video to watch with lots of modification. It's my movement performance assessment, the MPA, and an introduction to 3-plane training, all for free, just from, the book gave the link. So it's next to impossible to learn how to do movements correctly from a still picture. Yes, they can take a picture in between. So, a picture of me doing a lunge. So you take a picture of me standing here, a picture of me going forward, and then another picture, of me going down, maybe reaching, whatever, and then a picture of me ending. So you see the starting point, the midpoint, the end point. However, you don't know, okay, how far out should I go? It could be different for everyone because each person is unique as a fingerprint. This is why a video to learn movement is so superior to still pictures, because the person who's instructing can teach those modifications that you may need to keep from hurting yourself, to perform it successfully, and to gain the strength or the motion, whatever it is you're attempting to achieve. So when I teach a lunge or a step forward, maybe with a forward reach, I can talk about, make it a comfortable step if it's something new to you. Or if you really want to go further, you're going to really load the back hip. You might want to keep that back heel down if you really want to open up the back hip. Or if that's not a goal of yours and you're really focused on that leg that's going forward and building strength, then don't even really worry about the back leg. You can let the heel come up and you can really lean into that leg. If you've got issues with a knee, you might want to try having the foot rotate out a little bit. You might want to try going a little bit wide. You may need some stabilizing force, holding on to the back of a chair when you go to do the lunge, so that now you're completely safe and your body will let you build strength in that limb without fear of losing your balance and getting injured. So using the wrong muscles the wrong way and not really building what it is you're attempting to accomplish. So that's one reason that improper training can happen if you're attempting to do it from still pictures or books. And I'm not attacking or putting down anyone who's written exercise books. I'm sure that it's beautiful work, but you may struggle. And if there's no modifications taught, and how much can you write on a page around an exercise with potential modifications? You're limited with that as well. You can speak a lot faster, and you don't want 4 pages of words around one movement. So that's key. For proper training, you really want video. You really want modifications presented so that you can do the movement successfully without pain. As I've always taught, your brain does not like it if you repetitively do something that's painful. It's going to find ways to cheat. You're going to use the wrong muscles, the wrong way, the wrong pathways, and you're not going to accomplish what it is you're attempting to accomplish. You're literally training in dysfunction. So there's a couple of things. Another thing that can lead to improper training is when your instructor has one goal, but you have another. And what I mean by that is, what if your instructor is someone who is very sports oriented? And so they're going to teach you a lot of quick changing positions and movements. You know, say they've trained a lot of soccer players or basketball players or hockey players, you know, people who have to be able to, so they may really be focused on those things being very important, but that's not your life, that's not your goal. You know, you might be working with a strength coach, but you may really need someone who's focused on mobility, like gaining motion. Now, strength and range of motion do go together. Your body's going to limit your range if you're really weak somewhere, because it's not going to allow you to go further into that range if there's no strength to control that movement. So they do go hand in hand, but hopefully you're getting what I'm saying. You want to make sure that the instructor that's working with you is someone whose expertise fits what your goals are. I've seen a lot of people, and this is my profession is really guilty of this, having older folks who are really, really limited in their movement, you know, or the senior classes where everything is sitting down because, you know, if they stand up, maybe they have knee pain, maybe they have hip pain, maybe they can't stand, maybe they've got balance issues. So they're doing lots of exercises in the chair, which is fine and dandy, but if your goal is to get stronger so that you can navigate your stairs at home to do your laundry, chair exercises are going to be absolutely useless for you. So hopefully this is making sense. Whatever you're training in has to match your goals, what it is you want to accomplish. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about that can really lead to some improper training is if the movements themselves are isolating and they're not authentic. And I've done lots of videos on this, but in case this is the first one you've ever watched or you haven't seen some of those, you do not really want to be on one of those machines where you've got your feet behind something and you're pushing against resistance to load the quad, because what happens is a lot of tibiofemoral shear force here, and it's just not, it's not authentic. It's not something you would normally do. Now, I do know that someone in one of my classes, and I'm always very honest and transparent, and but they said that there was a particular sport that they did where they would hang off the side of the boat and they would kind of count on that movement to stay there. But that's the first time I've ever heard that in the 30 years I've been doing what I've been doing. I believe very few people would need that. And I still don't know how doing this against resistance would make you better at that. It would seem to me that you would be better off to be doing a movement that more mimicked what they're actually doing, with the bottom going back and down versus that. So I kind of still have a little bit of trouble with that motion being authentic. And then another one is the hamstrings, putting your ankle against something and pushing up against resistance to blast the hamstrings. Yeah, it'll make the hamstrings stronger, but it's an inauthentic thing, because the hamstring's job is to lower you with control, as well as max, the glutes and other muscles, lower you with control to sit down in a chair, to help you navigate stairs, and also to control your knee and help with extension of the knee as you go to take a step when you're walking. And yeah, I did say extension. That's what it does. It also helps to control rotation of the knee. So it's got a lot of jobs, and so laying on your stomach and pushing against resistance doing this, the hamstrings kind of get confused and say, what are you doing? Yeah, I can do that, but that's not really what I do. So, I mean, I guess a simple, easy way to put it is the major job that we believe a muscle has based on how it's oriented in the body, when you shorten it against resistance, is probably its weakest ability. Its strongest ability is usually the other two planes of motion. So in the context of real life function, like picking up big bags of mulch when you're doing gardening, or picking up grandchildren, getting something heavy out of the trunk of the car, getting wet laundry out of a washing machine, a top-loading washing machine, which can be very challenging. So there's a lot of ways that our body is used. We need to be exercising and training our body in the way that we use our body. It's a lot more authentic, and it's proper training. Okay, I hope that you like this. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I will see you next time.